Tom Doherty in California, and then our cleanup hitter is none other than Babe Ruth himself, Mark Holden. Don't let us down. TD, you're up.
Hey Josh, thank you for sharing your story and being so transparent. I connect with you in a lot of different ways in that experience. I lost both my grandmother and I lost my stepdad to brain cancer and brain tumors, and it's quite the journey, and it's challenging to go through. I rode for Livestrong for years. I think you had some stuff with Livestrong. I thought they did an amazing job, obviously before the information came out about Lance. But I think the question for me to you is, given the challenges with the brain tumors and different issues, there's so much we don't know about the brain. Have you had to deal with different issues like personality changes, different changes in your movements and abilities? How have you been able to handle those if you've had them?
Yeah, so it's probably be a question for my wife to subjectively give her opinion, but I do to your question, I do think that there's been a lot of personality changes, and I'd argue probably for the better. I think what I've gone through really has taught me to be as aware as I can of myself and how I'm influencing other people. And that was a really big eye-opening, was understanding that the things that I was going through impacted more than just myself. It impacted everyone in my world that cared about me. And so that's another reason why I decided to stop riding, because it was just unnecessary added risk that I was doing to myself and to my family. And that really came to be clearly. And so in May of 2021, I had a seizure in my sleep, and my wife, like I mentioned earlier, trained in sports medicine, emergency medicine, and was, there and helpful. And I woke up in the ER to her coming in, just, I don't remember if she was crying or not, but there was like a look of concern that I just started breaking down and realized, like, damn, like, yeah, like this experiment of just figuring out who I am from leaving my bike is going to last. Like, it's not worth it. So there's that piece. But then in terms of like mood swings or things like that, I mean, I I don't know. Like, I wish I started journaling earlier on, besides like writing blogs, which I could probably read into the perspective I had then, but it was just very optimistic and very like, I'm just going to do this. And I think I've held on to that, and I've become known with a lot of my friends as like the very optimistic one, and maybe to a fault sometimes. But I think recently too, what actually I'm reminded of is getting off the seizure medication that I was on for a little over 2 years. Actually, November 28th was 2 months that I've been fully off of it. The weaning off process, which was about 5 or 6 weeks, was miserable. It was, the last week or two was chronic, like daily anxiety, disassociating experiences, panic attacks. There's like just stuff I never dealt with before, experienced, at least at that level, let alone all day, and then created insomnia and all that. And I know I was miserable through that. And I was very, like, the entire time I was on that medication, especially the last year I was on it, when the symptoms or the side effects just started to increase, I definitely was very triggered. And that was challenging, because being someone that wants to improve inside and out and become as aware of as I am of myself as I can be, that was also kind of shattering to my ego, if you will, because I was like, I'm aware of this, and I'm trying, but like there's like some chemical I'm ingesting that's like creating this like heightened sense of being triggered on things. And but at the same time, I've really enjoyed my relationship with my wife, for various reasons, of course, like so many reasons. But this one thing is, she's like my greatest accountability partner. So she, former Taekwondo athlete, like badass, like just like not afraid to call me out my shit. And so having someone in my life on a regular basis, it's like, what's up? Like, it's been helpful. So yeah, it's just another one of those questions that's like, it's hard to answer, because I do believe, yes, there's been a lot. But I would say that more of it has been in the positive way of just changing my perspective on life.
Yeah, I'm glad you answered it. I just wanted the rest of the group to see how far, like, not that we already don't think you're amazing, but just how amazing you are given those challenges behind the scenes that maybe a lot of people don't see.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And that's something that I've been trying to be more vulnerable about. Is it started last year, the year before, where someone just made a comment about like how they wish they were just like so strong and like happy all the time, and like I was like this. I forget how they worded it, but something about like emotionally stable, and I was like, it's like, well, one, I'm not happy all the time, like of course, like, but I don't think I was doing a good enough job sharing that. And this is something that Mark and I have talked quite a bit about over the last couple of months in terms of like business and like getting frustrated and like being someone that's like, okay, what am I missing? What are my blind spots? I'm very big on that. I'm a coach. Like I believe in coaching, and then I'm like, I can't afford all these coaches I want. And then I'm like, what are my blind spots? What do I not know? What am I doing that I shouldn't be doing? And then at the same time, I can't hire the person to help me with those things. So I'm always like checking in, like auditing like, everything I do, which is a great quality, but then it becomes crippling at times. So I'm having to like juggle all these things around. And so I try to do my best to share these things and then to be as aware of them as I can. And that's why it's great to have people like everyone on this call and these moments, and as well as like my wife and friends and just different people to check in with, because I think that's a big piece. Is it can get to a point where sometimes I feel like I'm the victim, and I used to be like, no, you can't do that. Like, especially you're the one that talks about fear is just a thought and like, this and that, like you're going to be, I have a tattoo that says, or it's a C is greater than an E. So it's a reminder of to me, this is the equation of empowerment. Being at cause is greater than being at effect. To me, that's the reminder to stay empowered and not be a victim. But what I've learned is by denying and suppressing that, like, I feel this way sometimes, that only hurts me. And so it's okay to feel like, shit happens and like, this isn't fair. And to have those moments where we're like, oh, fuck, like, why is this happening to me? Like for so long, I thought that was bad. And it's just part of being a human. So I just feel like I just went on a tangent, but hopefully that kind of circles back to your question.
Thank you.